Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. We've taken careful note of what you've told us, how you would like us to amend our podcast, the changes that are required. And so we're hoping that as each episode is produced and published, that you will see it better and it will come out more digestible, more interesting and more fun, but also more informative, which is the most important part. I want to address again something that's been going on in our area, and particularly in Ward 57 and 56, and that is the inhumane treatment of the city government of Johannesburg, where people have been without water for 2-3 weeks. It is absolutely a human rights catastrophe, and it's absolutely shocking, and it is a symptom of what this government is about. What I find very sad and I don't understand is our poor councillors are trying the best they can, and they're being blamed for all the ANC's problems that they've caused. It is through their corruption, through their stealing of the money, through cadre deployment, through not running, making sure that the government, in this case Johannesburg, is run properly. And we're now stuck where we are fast moving into a failed state, where simple things like piped water can't be piped through to people's homes, where electricity continues to be a problem, not just load shedding, but in Johannesburg with city power as well. It is absolutely shocking. Well, what I don't understand is residents who are blaming the councillors as if it's their fault, as if they are executive councillors that can go and turn on the taps. It doesn't work that way. What you can do, the real power you have is next year, is to vote correctly. I keep on hearing about voters or from voters. I keep on hearing how they voted strategically. I don't understand what the strategy was. What strategy would it be that you would vote, for example, for a ward councillor that's DA, but then you would vote for your second vote, your PR vote, your proportional representation vote, would then be another party. And it's thanks to that kind of voting that we're in a situation where Johannesburg is run by a mayor who doesn't represent anybody. He really has he's from a two-person party, and we have a speaker from a one-person party. She's the sole member of COPE in the city council. And so what voters should do is they should look at facts. Don't believe the rhetoric. Give me an example of which DA government is not working. So it's absolutely vital that people stop believing the rubbish that is out there. I mean, the ludicrous stuff that people are consuming and then actually believing. Every single DA government that is controlled completely by the DA is a government of prosperity, of success, of employment, of growing the economy, growth, job creation. That's a reality. That can't be taken away. And I challenge you to give me just one example of a bad DA government, just one, whether it be national or provincial. Which government isn't working? And where there are problems with DA-led governments, it's usually in coalitions, and it's because the coalition partners have other agendas and they choose to play political games. So I'm pleading with you that come the next election, next year, that you vote for the DA. We know that we cannot get a majority, but certainly we can be as big as possible in our coalition so that we can form a government and start fixing this country. Without sounding overly dramatic, the reality is the DA is the last hope. Every single other party has given examples, has proven over and over again how they have been corrupt, have stolen money, how their policies are not good for the country. I could go on and on and on. How is it that the Western Cape things really function? How is it that in Cape Town things are working absolutely better? And in fact, to talk about that, at our recent court hearing that we had earlier in the week in the High Court in Pretoria, we had a few of our leaders there, and one of them was Premier Alan Winde, who is the Premier of the Western Cape and has been leading that province for a term now. And this is the kind of stuff that he had to say. which can all be verified. It's not rhetoric, it's real things that can be verified. So I urge you just to listen and then to consider who to vote for and which party has got a real track record. Not emotional stuff, not racist rubbish, but real track record where all citizens benefit and all are treated equally and are serviced equally with good service.
You know that increase is 31.4%, and we have an inflation rate at the moment of 4.7%. So an increase over the next 2 years, which is 6 times the inflation rate. Now that is just unacceptable, and the kind of increase that the citizens are given of this country in this environment, when we have such hardship from an economic point of view, that kind of increase just makes things worse. But let's put that increase on top of the costs, and you heard in the introductory remarks, it's almost R1 billion a day that this country is cost, or the cost of load shedding to this country's economy. If you add that to the 2 billion a day that we are paying as citizens for the debt servicing costs of our country, if you've seen of late the report on Transnet, the cost of Transnet's failures, that's another R1 billion a day. Let's not even talk about how many billions a day corruption costs the citizens of this country. So there's no wonder that we are feeling this absolute economic crunch that every single citizen is feeling every single day. Now, I'm going to talk about what we're doing in the Western Cape. We stand here as the DA. We stand here to really take this to court to say this is absolutely unconstitutional. We need to make sure that there is a proper plan. As Solly says, the ANC don't seem to have any plans. Now, in the Western Cape, we have a number of plans. I'll talk about the energy plan, but before I get there, let me talk about the jobs plan. So we've got a jobs plan, growth for jobs, and you've just seen the latest statistics now. Our unemployment rate, because we have a plan, is now down by 6.6%, the lowest unemployment rate in South Africa. 20.9% is our current unemployment rate, and reducing. We have a safety plan where in the previous quarter, murder was down by 14%. It's down this quarter by 5.5%. And in the areas that we are focusing, the highest murder rate areas in our province, we focus on 13 of those areas. It's down by 5.7%. So we have a plan, and you can see the data, you can see the statistics. Now with energy, we also have a plan. At the beginning of this year, we put our plan together. The first was to put an energy council together. Second was to put a budget to the plan. And the plan's budget is 1.1 billion from the province. We then add to that budget our municipalities' budgets also for ending load shedding. And that total budget now is sitting at just under 7 billion rand in the Western Cape. 7 billion rand that we're spending on energy to make sure that we end load shedding in the Western Cape. The plan is going to give us 5,700 megawatts of power. At the moment, we use 4,000 megawatts at peak. We, over the next few years, are going to end up with 5,700 megawatts. That mitigates total risk. It removes Eskom from the equation and makes sure that through our municipalities and private sector partnership and investment, we will have enough power for the current demand and for economic growth into the future. If you can already see in the city of Cape Town, 2 levels of load shedding better off than the rest of the country, and that is changing fast. By next year, you'll see that move to 3 levels and then on to 4 levels. Other municipalities are joining them. In George municipality already, we've got lots of investment happening, and you can already see the reduction in demand from Eskom because we've put the mitigation measures in place. We're going out to tender at the moment in the city for further power. 200 megawatts of renewable has already been tendered. A further 500 megawatts of power in tender at the moment. Stellenbosch just about to go out on tender. Mossel Bay, Saldanha Bay just about to go out on tender. I've spoken about George. And so you can already see the municipalities are stepping up within this plan. We've also got our own IRP in process. That's an integrated resource plan for the province, which decides what the energy mix is going to be like: renewable, gas, it could be SMR, small containerized nuclear, it could be a range of energy supply. That process is happening right now. But the most important thing is that we're going to have a diversified input of energy into our system that's going to lower our carbon footprint, make us much more marketable to the world. Our plans are also rolling out within our municipalities, where we've put emergency money in place. We put 87 million rand in place at the beginning of this year. I've visited most of the municipalities already where generator systems, emergency generator systems, are put in our sewage works and in our water works, because we cannot let sewage run in the roads while there's level 6 load shedding. We cannot have no water for our citizens while there's level 6 load shedding. So those emergency generation systems are in place quickly and to avert the current crisis, while we are rolling out more sustainable options. So in our health systems and in our schools, we are rolling out solar PV with battery backup systems to make sure that our hospitals and our education spaces are sustainable through this energy crisis and moving into the future. 10 of our hospitals are already level 6 exempt. We're putting in a dedicated power line to the Khayelitsha Hospital so that they can also be exempt. 193 of our healthcare facilities have already got emergency generation systems in place. 68 of them run on smart meter data management systems. We have inverter systems running now at 51 of our clinics this year, and a further 87 to go next year. These are the kind of plans that we are putting in place. We've got a pilot running at the moment with wheeling, where private sector can put up power in a system, and we will wheel that power from somewhere in the province to demand and buy it from another buyer in another part of the province or another municipality. We've also looking to the future with looking at a gas procurement process that is also being launched at the moment. We've got a green hydrogen plan into the future. We've got systems that are looking at pooled buying and municipal microgrids, because this is how we are going to manage the future modern energy system in the Western Cape. 24 of our municipalities have already got small-scale embedded generation approval, and 21 of them can buy power from the individual, from a citizen or a business who puts power back into the system. So these are the kind of plans that the province has put in place. And what I'd like to say, Solly, is that when the DA is in power next year in Gauteng, you can be rolling out exactly the same kind of plan in Gauteng, where we put plans in place and those plans turn to reality. And at the end of the day, it's the citizens that will benefit. It's the economy that will benefit. And I really look forward to sharing these plans with other DA municipalities and with other DA governments into the future. Thank you.
So if you are already registered and you haven't moved since the last election and you're at exactly the same address, then you are still the same voting station, and so you're okay if you're you can go and vote at that voting station. If you have moved since the last election, moved to a different area, different ward, different area completely, you would need to re-register. And you'll be seeing shortly a video, an explanation on how easy we've made it for you to go and register. Gone are the days when you had to go into an IEC office to get it done. It can now all be done online. So let's have a look at that.
Get help registering to vote online. Visit check.da.org.za. All you need is your ID. Enter your personal details and submit. Check your cell phone for your unique link and click. If you need to register, you will be directed to the IEC's website. Select Register to vote now. Enter your personal details. Upload a photo of your green barcoded ID or your smart ID card by selecting Browse to find the photo. You will receive a message confirming your voter registration within 24 hours. Be part of the mission to rescue South Africa in election 2024. But if you are voting for the first time, or if you've moved since you last voted, you need to register correctly to vote in 2024. Remember, you can only vote at the voting station at which you are registered. Take up your power and skip the queue. Visit check.da.org.za and get help with your voter registration.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast. We've tried to make it shorter and snappier as per your requests. Hope you like it. Keep on sending your ideas, your suggestions, and how we can improve. But we hope you've enjoyed and found this episode interesting. And please do keep emailing us, providing us information, questions, and all sorts of other things. Till next time, keep well.